and what's best for the people be what's running the thing. We're letting the thing be run by the people that are in power, that are corrupt, that want to keep the power.
If she didn't really know what was going on, right, which is what she's probably going to say later, I had no idea what my husband and his associates were doing. We'll wait and see what that is. But I think it's pretty freaking ironic.
The drama surrounding Sunny Hostin and her husband Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin has taken an unexpected twist, one that's straight out of a legal thriller. Picture this: you're sipping your morning coffee, scrolling through the latest headlines, and suddenly you're hit with the shocking news. The husband of one of daytime TV's most outspoken hosts is now at the heart of a massive legal battle. But this isn't just any lawsuit, it's a jaw-dropping case involving nearly 200 defendants and allegations so wild they could rival the plot of any courtroom drama. Dr. Hostin, a respected orthopedic surgeon with decades of experience, is now the focal point of what's being called one of the largest lawsuits ever filed under the RCO Act in New York. As for Sunny Hostin, well, let's just say the spotlight on her has never been more intense.
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
So let's dissect it. With credentials from esteemed universities like Johns Hopkins, Dr. Manny Hostin is well known in his field and has operated his own practice, Hostin Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, since 2006. However, there are now rumors that he engaged in fraudulent medical practices. According to the lawsuit, he is accused of performing unnecessary surgeries, billing for treatments that may not have occurred, and pocketing kickbacks that were passed off as legitimate payments if confirmed. This kind of SC.
Emmanuel denied the allegations via a statement through his lawyer, telling Daily Mail that his client, quote, denies each and every allegation and that the lawsuit is a blanket scattered.
This lawsuit's scope is astounding. It involves more than just one physician or facility. There are around 200 defendants in this alleged fraud network, including healthcare facilities and other medical practitioners. American Transit Insurance Company, the plaintiff, alleges that they were defrauded of millions of dollars in what they refer to as bogus healthcare services. These procedures were frequently linked to New York's no-fault insurance laws, which are intended to promptly pay for medical bills for individuals involved in auto accidents, regardless of who is at fault. The worst part is that, despite their good intentions, these laws are being accused of opening a loophole that is ready for abuse, which is where Dr. Hostin is allegedly involved.
RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than
The lawsuit claims that many of the patients involved are rideshare drivers, people who rely on their cars for a living. According to the allegations, some of these drivers who were involved in minor accidents were recommended for invasive surgeries they didn't necessarily need. Imagine a fender bender that would typically result in a referral for physical therapy suddenly turning into a major surgical procedure. The insurance companies are left to pick up the tab for what they argue are inflated or even fraudulent claims. But this isn't just about money, it's about trust. Patients depend on their doctors to make decisions in their best interests, not to treat them as walking dollar signs. That said, these are still allegations, not proven facts. Dr. Hostin's attorney Daniel Swats has come out swinging, calling the lawsuit meritless and accusing American Transit of trying to recover funds as the company teeters on the brink of financial collapse. Sunny Hostin herself has also weighed in, calling the case a smear campaign aimed at exploiting her celebrity status. She accuses American Transit of using her family photos in tabloids to manipulate public opinion against them. In her words, her family remains resolute and she has vowed to fight back with a countersuit for defamation.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance.
The fact that this matter is linked to Sunny's public image as one of the co-hosts of the show makes it even more explosive. Sunny is renowned for her incisive viewpoints and readiness to address contentious issues. Hostin has established a reputation as a champion for justice, frequently using her platform to expose systemic problems in politics, society, and yes, even healthcare. However, now that the roles have reversed, Sunny finds herself in an awkward defensive position, with critics quickly pointing out the irony of her predicament and the discrepancy between her on-air persona and the accusations against her husband.
It's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history.
Last but not least, there is the wild card in all of this. Joe Rogan, the outspoken podcaster, wasted no time in criticizing Sunny and The View, calling her hypocritical and raising doubts about her knowledge of her husband's purported actions. When Rogan compared the scene to a rabies-infested henhouse, where sensationalism frequently triumphs over substance, he didn't hold back. He even made a harsh joke about the host's combined intelligence, which struck a chord with his audience. Rogan's supporters turned this judicial drama into a full-fledged cultural phenomenon by flooding social media with comments and jokes.
Of Sunny Hostin on The View, Tom, basically implicating her husband in this type of a scheme.
The legal process has only just begun, so let's not get ahead of ourselves with all the headlines and rumors. Dr. Horton hasn't been proven guilty of anything, and his lawyer has stated that they plan to fiercely contest the allegations. If these claims prove to be accurate, it could reveal more serious problems in the healthcare sector, such as the susceptibility of insurance systems and the ethical obligations of medical practitioners. At stake here is not only Dr. Han's career but also the integrity of the healthcare system and the public's trust in it.
And they're essentially saying that it's a money grab, and they're also going to countersue for millions of dollars.
Meanwhile, American Transit Insurance has its own motives to consider. Reports suggest the company has faced financial difficulties and has been accused of mishandling claims in the past. Are they genuinely trying to expose a massive fraud ring, or is this a last-ditch effort to shift the blame and recover their losses? This question adds even more complexity to an already tangled situation, and let's not forget the human element. Here the patient's allegedly caught up in this mess. This isn't just a legal battle, it's deeply personal. Imagine trusting a doctor with your health only to later learn that your treatment might have been unnecessary or even harmful. The emotional and physical toll of such an experience is immeasurable, raising serious ethical questions about the responsibilities of medical professionals.
But it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to.
The show thrives on controversy, but this kind of personal drama could be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's the kind of headline-grabbing story that keeps viewers tuned in, but on the other hand, it puts a spotlight on Sunny that could overshadow the show's larger mission of fostering meaningful dialogue. As the lawsuit progresses, all eyes are on Sunny Hostin and how she handles this storm. Will she continue to defend her husband publicly, or will she step back to protect her own career?
Nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality and equality system.
Then there's the issue of public perception. Sunny has built her career on being outspoken and unapologetic, but this scandal is pushing the limits of her credibility. How do you reconcile her calls for accountability and justice with the serious allegations surrounding her own family? It's a contradiction that hasn't gone unnoticed, and both her critics and supporters are wrestling with it. The stakes have never been higher, and the drama shows no signs of slowing down. With every new revelation, the story becomes more complicated, drawing in new figures and raising fresh questions. What began as a legal battle has quickly evolved into a cultural moment, sparking conversations about ethics, accountability, and the influence of public figures in shaping public opinion. As Sunny herself would likely admit, this is far from over. The next chapter promises to be just as explosive, and you can be sure we'll be following every twist and turn. Stay tuned, this story is only getting started.
But it does not look well when your name ends up with 200 people in a RICO investigation. This is the biggest investigation since Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but
the legal drama surrounding Sunny Hostin doesn't end there. Oh, no, we're talking about Sunny, a woman who has made a career out of voicing strong opinions and daring statements on national television. However, when you spend years criticizing others, it's only a matter of time until people start to turn against you. Accusations of hypocrisy against Sunny have been coming in fast and furious, and really, can you blame people for her husband's legal issues, her controversial appearances on The View, and her talent for stirring things up? There's a lot to delve into the situation.
Sunny Hostin of The View, who's constantly raging about race and reparations and how bad America is and its racial past and all this stuff.
Let's start with her on-air persona. Sunny has always been known for speaking her mind, often wearing the badge of moral superiority like a crown. She's not afraid to call out systemic issues, political figures, or even her own co-hosts when their views don't align with hers. The problem, however, is that when you position yourself as the ultimate truth teller, people expect you to uphold those same standards in your personal life, and right now, critics are having a field day pointing out the glaring Contradictions between her public stance and her private life take for example her comments about Melania Trump, who could forget just a few episodes ago when Sunny went on a fiery rant saying I think she hates him, she doesn't want to be the first lady anymore, she destroyed the Rose Garden, she hates Christmas. Whether you agreed with her or not, it was vintage Sunny, unfiltered, biting and full of speculation. But hey, race the kicker, while Sunny was busy psychoanalyzing Melania on national television, her own husband was allegedly entangled in a scandal that could send shockwaves through the medical community. To her critics, the irony practically writes itself.
The delusion of saying that he has kindness in his heart. He's so mean.
She called him positive.
He's the meanest president we've ever had. And I was around when Nixon was here.
Even in The View's own panel, Alyssa Farah Griffin couldn't contain her anger and yelled, I don't think white women like being called uneducated white women, in response to Sunny's assertion that uneducated white women were to blame for Donald Trump's recent victory. Sunny has caused arguments that have caused viewers and her co-hosts to raise their eyebrows. Sunny then attempted to retract her statement, claiming that she was referring to white women without college degrees, but the harm had already been done. Remarks like that don't simply go unnoticed, they stick and offer her detractors more grounds to doubt her reliability.
You have Latino men actually voting more for him, and you have and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right.
So why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms, and why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
And let's not overlook how Sunny's position on accountability has changed. Or perhaps we should say that it has changed conveniently depending on who is in the hot seat. For years, Sunny has been an outspoken supporter of justice and transparency, frequently emphasizing that no one, not even those in positions of authority, should be above scrutiny. However, now that the focus is on her own family, she is singing a slightly different tune. Her defense of her husband has been passionate, yes, but also noticeably evasive. Critics have noted that while she is quick to demand accountability from others, she is less forthcoming when it comes to addressing the accusations against Dr. Horton, which many perceive as a double standard.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah.
One of the most fascinating aspects of this saga is how it underscores the fine line Sunny walks between being a television personality and a public figure. On one hand, she's a co-host of The View, a show that thrives on heated debates and polarizing opinions. On the other, she's a lawyer and a self-proclaimed advocate for justice, which means people expect her to practice what she preaches. But hey, race the thing, when you're a public figure, your words don't exist in a vacuum. They're scrutinized, dissected, and yes, sometimes weaponized against you. Right now, Sunny is learning that lesson the hard way. The backlash hasn't been confined to social media, though that's certainly played a big part. From Twitter to Instagram, people have been calling her out for what they see as hypocrisy, with some even dubbing her the queen of double standards. One particularly viral tweet read, Sunny HW loves to lecture everyone about morality, but where is that energy when it comes to her husband? Funny how quiet she gets when the tables are turned out. The comment sections on posts about her have turned into battlegrounds, with supporters defending her integrity while critics pile on with memes and snide remarks.
One thing, and I would have even actually not give her any, is she said, well, I guess that's just what they did back then.
Yeah.
She should have followed that up with saying something along the lines of, and I understand that that's a departure from the way I've talked about this before. That was to me, the one thing that was missing.
But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this whole situation is Sunny's response, or lack thereof, for someone who has never shied away from a fight. She has made statements to her lawyer and talked generally about the case being a smear campaign, but she has been conspicuously silent on some aspects of the accusations against her husband, leaving room for speculation. Is she waiting for the legal dust to settle before speaking out, or is she just trying to protect her own reputation by avoiding the controversy? In any case, her silence isn't helping quell the criticism.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this. Will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny. She's so wrapped up in identity and she had no idea who she was.
The concepts of accountability and justice are now being used against Sunny. During one particularly fiery episode of The View, she once said, "If you have nothing to hide, then transparency shouldn't be an issue." That quote has been making the rounds online, with critics pointing out the irony given her current situation. Moments like this highlight how much public figures are held to the very standards they set for others, and how quickly those words can come back to haunt them. Then there's the professional fallout to consider. The View has always been a magnet for controversy, but this situation feels different. It's not just about a heated debate or an offhand comment, it's about one of their own being at the center of a major legal scandal. How does the show handle this? Do they address it head on or leave Sunny to face it on her own? And what about the other hosts? Whoopi Goldberg has already made it clear that she doesn't mince words, but even she might tread carefully here. After all, as much as The View thrives on drama, there's a fine line between entertainment and real-life consequences.
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He throws the garbage out. Right. He does the heavy stuff.
Additionally, in a time when public people are continuously scrutinized, let's not overlook the wider societal implications of this entire story. This is not just a legal battle, it is a test of Sunny's tenacity, reputation, and ability to navigate the turbulent waters of public opinion. Sunny's situation serves as a warning about the dangers of living in the spotlight, and serves as a reminder that when you build your brand on being outspoken and unapologetic, you have to be ready for the backlash when things don't go as planned.
It seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
It's fun times.
Oh yeah.
But hey, race the million-dollar question: where does Sunny go from here? Does she double down and continue defending her husband even if it means risking further scrutiny, or does she step back, focus on her family, and let the legal process play out? Either way, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. The legal battle is just beginning. The public discourse is heating up, and Sunny Hostin finds herself at the center of a storm she never saw coming. Whether she weathers the storm or gets swept away remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure: it's going to be a wild ride as the drama unfolds. It's impossible not to wonder about the lasting impact, not just on Sunny and her family, but on the broader conversation about accountability, justice, and the role of public figures in society. Will this be a turning point for Sunny, forcing her to reassess her approach to public life, or will it just be another chapter in the ever-evolving saga of The View? Let's talk about it in the comments.